I'm Dr. Suraiya Shahin, and today I will teach you A Flowering Tree by A.K. Ramanujan. This is a short story by A.K. Ramanujan. First of all, let me talk about briefly about A.K. Ramanujan. A.K. Ramanujan, who was born on 16th of March 1929, was a notable Indian poet, critic, folklorist, and one of the most renowned scholars of South Asian language and culture. He wrote literature in both languages, that is, English and Kannada. A.K. Ramanujan taught at the University of Chicago for 30 years. A.K. Ramanujan taught at the University of Chicago for 30 years. Now I will tell you about the short story A Flowering Tree. A Flowering Tree is a short story which appears in A.K. Ramanujan's book A Flowering Tree and Other Oral Tales from India. It is a Kannada folklore told by women which is translated by A.K. Ramanujan into English. This story, A Flowering Tree, makes us familiar with the relationship between women and nature. In this short story, Ramanujan tells us about the transformation of a girl into a tree bearing beautiful flowers. And again, she transforms herself back into human form. When the girl transforms herself into a tree, it produces beautiful flowers, and those flowers she uses for financial and social purpose. Through this Kannada folk tale, Ramanujan had not simply narrated a story about anthropomorphic transformation, but his emphasis is on the cultural ramifications of the tale, which metaphorically speaks a lot about the conditions of women in a patriarchal society. The metaphoric connections between womanhood and ecology are significant in this short story, which exposes the marginalized and subalternized place of women in our society. When the story opens, Ramanujan, the writer, informs us that in a certain town, a king had two daughters and a son. The older daughter was married. And in the same town, there was an old woman who had two daughters. The old woman was poor and did menial jobs to survive her two daughters. The younger girl of that old woman had magical power to turn into a tree. So when she reached puberty, one day she said to her elder sister, "Sister, I will turn into a flowering tree. You can take all the flowers and sell them to earn good money, and in this way we can help our poor mother financially, who has been surviving us working hard days and night." The elder sister was surprised to hear about the magical power of her younger sister because she was not aware of about the magical power of her younger sister. So she asked her surprisingly, "But how will you turn into a flowering tree?" The younger sister replied, "Do what I say to you and you will see everything." The younger sister told her elder sister, "Sister, you first sweep and wash the entire house, then take a bath, go to the well and bring 2 pitchers full of water without touching them with her fingernails." The elder sister did the same thing. Right in front of their house, there stood a tall tree. So the younger sister sat under that tree and started meditating. Then she asked her elder sister to pour the water from one pitcher all over her body. Then she said, I will turn into a flowering tree. And then she turned into a flowering tree. And the elder sister plucked lots of flowers without breaking a sprout or damaging any leaf, which the younger sister had already warned. After plucking the flowers, the elder sister again poured the water from the other pitcher over the entire body of the younger sister. And then she again became in human form. So it was her transformation. Now the elder sister took the beautiful flowers and garlands and went before the king's palace and hawked, crying, flowers, flowers, please buy flowers, who want flowers? In this way, both the sisters sold the beautiful flowers and earned money without informing their old mother. Then one day, the king's son saw the beautiful flowers and he found those flowers giving wonderful fragrance. He was surprised to see those beautiful flowers because he had never seen such beautiful flowers. So he watched the girl who brought to hawk those flowers. So one day he followed that girl to her home, but he didn't find a single flowering tree anywhere around her home. He was quite curious to know the secret of those beautiful flowers. Then the king's son secretly went into the girl's house, hiding himself in the tall tree in front of that girl's house. Then the prince, who is the king's son, saw secretly all the process, how the younger sister turned into a flowering tree and the elder sister plucked lots of beautiful flowers to sell them. Now the king's son, who is a prince, tells his father that he is very much interested to marry that younger daughter of old woman. And next day, what happens? The king called the poor old woman before his palace and said to that old woman, you have two girls. Will you give us the younger one in wedding with my son? The old woman was surprised, but she agreed because it was the king's order. The old woman, who was unaware of the magical power of her younger daughter, came back home and angrily started beating her daughters with a broom, asking them, what's the connection with the king's son that he gave a marriage proposal? Eventually, to clear the doubts of her mother, the younger daughter turned into a flowering tree and then back into human form. Now the old mother believed the magical power of her younger daughter. Now the old mother is happy that her younger daughter is married to the king's son and now she will live in a palace. After their wedding, 2 days and 2 nights passed, but the king's son didn't talk to his newly married wife. When the wife asked her husband that why he didn't talk to her, he told her that he will talk to her only when she will turn into a flowering tree. He will pluck the beautiful flowers and they will sleep on the beautiful bed of flowers. Then every night she turned into a flowering tree and the couple slept on those flowers. And in every morning, they threw those used flowers from the window, which gradually became the heap of flowers like a hill. One day, the king's daughter also came to know the secret of the magical power of her sister-in-law. She insisted her sister-in-law to turn into a flowering tree. They poured the water on her body indifferently here and there, not properly. So this time she turned into a tree, but only a half tree. As they were outside the home and it was thundering and lightning, they plucked the flowers by tearing up the sprouts which broke the branches. They were in a hurry to get home, so they poured the second pitcher of water randomly and ran away. This time, when the princess changed from a tree to a person, she had no head, no hands, no feet. She had only half a body. Now she crawled on the road. The prince didn't know what happened with his wife. He told his mother, Amma, my wife went to the orchard to play on the swings, but she never came back. After a few days, the queen came to know that the woman who was crawling on the road with no hands, no feet, was her daughter in law. The prince now poured the pitcher of water carefully and properly, and then she became a whole human being again. The king and the queen were overjoyed at the return of their long lost son and daughter in law. Ramanujan, through the ability of transformation, means to say that women are vulnerable in our society. They should be treated with utmost care. What we find in the transformation of the younger sister, that even after the transformation into a flowering tree, the flowers needed to be plucked with proper care. Otherwise, it brought negative impression. The writer metaphorically states that she, as a tree which symbolizes nature, is under the control of humans. Women are also marginalized at the hands of patriarchy. The protagonist in the short story is suppressed and remains in the control of other people throughout her life. She is most vulnerable when she is a tree. As a tree, she can neither speak nor move. Each time she becomes a tree, she begs the person who is pouring the water to be careful and not to hurt her. 5 times she transforms herself into a flowering tree, which tells the reality of a society when a woman is safe or not safe. Okay, so this is all about the short story of Flowering Tree by A.K. Ramanujan. Thank you.